The all-new Mazda CX-60 presents the organization's most memorable module full half-and-half innovation to the European SUV market. Growing Mazda's SUV lineup, the all-new Mazda CX-60 is the first of two new models from the organization's enormous item gathering to be presented all through Europe during the following 2 years. Showing Mazda's obligation to a multi-arrangement way to deal with manageable versatility and the head of the perfect arrangement at the ideal time, the Mazda CX-60 meets the developing requirements of the fragment with a more extensive selection of SUVs, joining the most recent natural presentation with the driving delight innate in each Mazda. Exhibiting the organization's most memorable module full half-and-half powertrain, Mazda's new leader model, the Mazda CX-60 PHEV, addresses all that Mazda has incorporated into its DNA throughout recent years, from exceptional outside and inside plan to the best Japanese craftsmanship, the most recent developments in human-driven advancements and world-driving powertrains. The impressive strength of the Mazda CX-60's delightful and dynamic styling conveys the knowledge and polish of the most recent advancements in Kodo configuration woven into the sturdiness of the striking front motor, back tire drive SUV engineering. The exquisite, premium quality inside plan blends various materials and surfaces like maple wood, Napa calfskin, exceptionally worked Japanese materials, chrome subtleties, and an extraordinarily point-by-point instrument board sewing. Human-driven advances have been re-examined and refined to consummate the Genvertai driving experience and, like never before, meet the singular requirements of the driver. The noteworthy Mazda Driver Personalization framework will perceive the inhabitant of the driver's seat and naturally change the environmental elements, seat position, guiding wheel, mirrors, HUD, even the sound and environment control settings, to accommodate their physical makeup as well as their own inclinations. The Mazda CX-60 PHEV leads the European presentation of module crossover models with a powertrain which consolidates a Skyactiv G2.5, 4-chamber direct infusion petroleum with an enormous 100 kilowatts electric engine and a 355 volts, 17.8 kilowatt-hours high-limit battery. This blend of motor and engine conveys a complete framework result of 327 PS/241 kilowatts and bountiful force of 500 Newton meters, making it the most impressive street vehicle Mazda has at any point delivered. The Mazda CX-60 PHEV conveys exceptionally great execution, advancing from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.8 seconds, and onto a restricted most extreme speed of 200 km per hour. On the other hand, and most remarkably while running on electric engine power alone, the new Mazda PHEV shows exceptional ecological certifications. WLTP consolidated fuel utilization is simply 1.5 liters/100 kilometers, and WLTP joined CO2 discharge is just 33 grams/km. The Mazda CX-60e Skyactiv PHEV offers 60 km of engine-fueled driving with the vehicle running at 100 km per hour or less. The situating of the great voltage battery between the front and back axles and as low as conceivable inside the body shell gives the new Mazda CX-60 PHEV an especially low focus of gravity. This, joined with an extremely durable all-wheel drive framework consolidating shaft-driven move of force between the axles, gives the vehicle prevalent taking care of qualities on a standard with the best in the top-notch fragment. Created involving the right measuring idea which calls for upgraded uprooting to further developed fuel and power proficiency, new age, straight 6, 3.0-litre e-Skyactiv X petroleum and 3.3-litre Skyactiv D diesel motors with two different power results will likewise be presented. Including M-crossbreed lift, Mazda's 48 volts gentle half-and-half framework, they join high result with great efficiency and discharges execution. Each of the three power plants are mated to another 8-speed programmed transmission, and Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive framework. The e-Skyactiv D diesel unit, and the e-Skyactiv X petroleum motor may likewise be outfitted with back tire drive as it were. Mazda Keen Drive Select, Me Drive, offers a decision of 4 drive modes, in addition to EV mode for the PHEV, to give ideal control and driving delight in each driving situation. The all-new Mazda CX-60 depends on Mazda's active multi-arrangement versatile design, which includes various upgrades that offer fantastic driving elements. Taking on Mazda's human-driven approach, these incorporate bodyshell unbending nature that guarantees drivers can feel vehicle reaction without slack, situates that make it significantly simpler for each inhabitant to keep up with balance while the vehicle is moving, suspension that settles vehicle pose while driving, and a Mazda Special Vehicle Act Control Framework, Kinematic Stance Control, KPC. An exhaustive scope of cutting-edge active sense driver help frameworks guarantees dynamic security at the most elevated level, and focuses on an EuroNCAP 5-star well-being rating. A few new advances debut in the Mazda CX-60, Transparent View, a cutting-edge 360-degree screen with broadened field of view at low paces, Slope Drop Control, HDC, which aids securely plunging steep slants with dangerous or harsh street surfaces, Voyage Control, IACC, which can now consolidate speed limits from traffic sign acknowledgement, and Vehicle Leave Cautioning, VSM, for back-moving towards street clients. Mazda's Kodo Soul of Movement Plan reasoning entered stage 2 with the send-off of the Mazda 3. For the Mazda CX-60, the organization assumed the test of making a plan that would in a flash mirror the improvement and further headway of Kodo Plan. Considered under the plan idea respectable durability, the monumental strength of the Mazda CX-60's lovely and dynamic styling conveys the knowledge and class of the most recent advancements in Kodo Plan, the Japanese idea of MoMA, which is the quiet and stately excellence of void space, woven into the sturdiness of the striking front motor, back tire drive SUV design. The rich, premium quality inside plan further presents the thoughts of Keishu, a component of concordance which blends various materials and surfaces like maple wood, Napa cowhide, remarkably worked Japanese materials and chrome subtleties, and Musubu, the specialty of restricting which was the motivation for an uncommonly nitty-gritty instrument board sewing. The profoundly etched front face and long nose, shortened back outline make a strong and dynamic structure and a monumental SUV-like presence in a structure with basic magnificence and style, as well as a spacious and lavishly point-by-point inside space. The Takumi and Homer are model grades add extra bits of visual and material quality that enrich the Mazda CX-60 with an extreme yet noble outside and an open and lavish inside. The Kodo Plan idea of reviving a vehicle expects to make a structure in which the vehicle as a moving item looks like a living make running at maximum speed. Its system communicates soundness, much as a living life form utilizes its skeletal construction and muscles to hold the ground solidly. This is the quintessence of Kodo Plan. The Mazda CX-60 purposes areas of strength for it to convey its skeletal allure when seen from any point. The front grille takes on a changed viewpoint proportion which shows off the level of the grille more than on other Mazdas. The Mark wing currently includes enlightenment usefulness to additionally highlight the strong look of the grille. The front light plan is additionally new for Mazda. Dissimilar to past models, the Mazda CX-60 front lamp game plan includes upward stacked lights and a L-molded lighting mark to make another articulation that conveys the strength of SUV. In profile, the moderately aft situating of the lodge on the body loans the vehicle a powerful feeling of development. The SUV's feeling of telling durability is jazzed up by exquisite surface treatment, with a dash of light which pillars down from the lodge's back edge and touches the back tire curve prior to arriving at the ground. This basic yet strong movement addresses a strength found in Japanese calligraphy and present-day workmanship, in declining to be limited by the edge of the material. With regards to the act of adding a seal to the front wing of sports vehicles, the Mazda CX-60 highlights a side mark to mirror the phenomenal driving presentation presented by its front motor, back tire drive design. The backlighting mark additionally takes on a L-formed plan to match that of the front light groups. The broadly spread continuous flat styling making a lighting mark proper to an exceptional class vehicle. Made through a further development of Mazda's Takamine painting innovation, another rhodium white completion joins the organization's Spirit Red Precious Stone and Machine Dark as a third signature body tone. The decision of white was propelled by the Japanese stylish conviction that toning it down would be ideal, and the nothingness of harmony Buddhism, making the picture of a machine zeroed in on the thick radiance of metal. As opposed to a customary white pearl finish, rhodium white has a hard sparkle with a much more thick molecule surface, complementing the Mazda CX-60's strong, smooth structure. Taking all things together, a decision of 8 body tones are accessible: pure black, profound precious stone blue, sonic silver, platinum quartz, icy white, rhodium white, machine dim, and soul red gem. The new Mazda CX-60 might be fitted with either 18-inch or 20-inch combination wheels. The inside plan follows the outside in communicating the strength of the Mazda CX-60's front motor, back tire drive SUV engineering. The wide instrument board highlights non-stop lines which go through the side's air vents into the entryway trim, supporting the roominess of the inside. The solid state of the mid-control area enters the lodge space from front to back, communicating both underlying strength and the presence of a longitudinally mounted motor, another 8-speed programmed transmission, and rear-wheel drive. Exceptionally Mazda and well-established in Japanese legacy, the inside commends the living nature of normal wood grain and great woven materials, with Japanese craftsmanship accomplishing the most elevated levels of value in the two materials. Surfaces are made utilizing both customary strategies and new innovations. The treatment of the maple wood trim reflects the Japanese stylish of hacho, topsy-turvy balance, or purposeful lopsidedness. The woven textures, different examples and yarns answer delicately to changes in light, and a Japanese sewing strategy called keikinu makes hanging sewing creases with spaces between the trim textures, uncovering a brief look at the material underneath. White encompassing lighting on the front and back entryway trim draws out the best of the variety, and surface of the inside wraps up. Discretionary mid and high-grade renditions of the Mazda CX-60 element an enormous 1060mm by 995mm all-encompassing rooftop to grow the scope of perceivability and light for back-seat travelers. The roof line between the B support points has been intended to decrease weight and upgrade security against side effects. The Mazda CX-60 offers a similar painstakingly considered cockpit configuration tracked down on all Mazda vehicles, with an on a level plane even design fixated on the driver. It offers an ergonomically incredible driving place that feels regular and strong, and permits the driver to zero in on street and traffic ahead. The improvement of an outstandingly thin 8-speed programmed transmission has limited any expansion in transmission burrow width, considering the best pedal and seat situation, and e-space close to the mid-control area, in any event, for those of a bigger form. Notwithstanding the further improvement of seats that make it more straightforward for tenants to keep up with their normal feeling of equilibrium, see driving elements, the seat level change has been intended to permit inhabitants to modify their seat level without either changing their stance or changing the slide system again subsequent to utilizing the lifter. The controlling wheel offers a 45mm rake and 70mm arrive at change range. More prominent solace and actual help is presented by a middle armrest which is 230mm longer and 37mm more extensive than that of the CX-5. The authority control handle has been pushed ahead by 132mm, and raised 82mm to permit its activity with the client's arm laying serenely on the middle armrest. Both the front entryway holds and armrests have been intended to offer upgraded grasp and backing. The entryway armrests are currently set at a similar level as the middle armrest for ergonomic balance, and greatest inhabitant's solace. The Mazda CX-60's new driver personalization framework includes 3 capabilities: a programmed driving position guide, programmed setting reclamation, and entrance/departure help. The programmed driving position guide utilizes a camera to distinguish the place of the driver's eyes and info in regards to the driver's level to gauge their body, then, at that point, naturally changes the seat, directing wheel, HUD and entryway mirrors to match the driver's eye position. Programmed setting reclamation utilizes facial acknowledgement, and information on in excess of 250 changes and settings put away in the vehicle, including the driving position, sound and cooling, to rapidly and consequently re-establish the settings for every person when the driver changes. The framework can store settings for up to 6 individuals, in addition to visitors. Likewise, the entrance/departure help capability makes it simpler for the driver to get in and out of the vehicle by sliding the guiding haggle far removed. The Mazda CX-60's seating is set higher to get an unmistakable and unhindered view. An unmistakable perspective on the cab from the driver's seat makes it simpler for the driver to acquire a reasonable feeling of the vehicle's limits and put it precisely out and about, a resource while driving on restricted streets or in parking garages. The state of the Mazda CX-60's cap has been painstakingly intended to make it simpler for the driver to distinguish the main edge of the vehicle. The hood's slanting forward perceivability edge, how much street surface secret by the vehicle corner askew inverse the driver, has been abbreviated by 303 mm contrasted with that of the CX-5, and its forward perceivability limit, how much street surface secret by the vehicle straightforwardly before the driver, has additionally been abbreviated by 100 mm. The CX-60 has additionally been intended to make it more straightforward to outwardly look at slantingly behind the vehicle, permitting the driver to move to another lane with more prominent inward feeling of harmony. Likewise, the foundation of the A support point has been given an enormous, bended shape to make it more straightforward to distinguish kids at convergences. The driver's cockpit region highlights 3 principal instrument shows, a full TFT LCD driver's instrument binnacle, an enormous window head-up show, HUD, and a 12.3-inch infotainment focus show. The driver's instrument screen has been developed to a full 12.3-inch show. As well as driving help modes and cautioning shows, it likewise upholds the driver personalization framework, see underneath, to improve perceivability of arrived driver. Moreover, the unique beginning up and me drive mode shows improve well-being and security through superior perceivability. The HUD screen region is multiple times bigger than that of the Mazda CX-30. This diminishes pointless eye development, gives the driver fundamental data in an easy-to-figure-out way, and uplifts the feeling that all is well with the world while driving. The text show has been broadened and route information extended to furnish the driver with more nitty-gritty data out and about ahead. Also, high-level driver help frameworks, ADAS, settings and activity status data, is ideally shown to empower at-a-glance perusing. The all-new Mazda CX-60 is 4,745 mm long, 1,890 mm wide and 1,680 mm high, and has a 5.4-meter turning circle. Its 2,870 mm wheelbase offers open convenience for all inhabitants, as well as liberal load space. The Mazda CX-60 Lodge has adequate width, offering 1,504 mm of shoulder room in the front seats, 44 mm more than the CX-5, and 1,441 mm in the back seats, 50 mm more than the CX-5. The back seats offer enough legroom for travelers to sit with their legs straight as opposed to expecting to turn their lower body. Even those with a huge build can keep an agreeable and stable stance while situated. Counting under FL or capacity, the Mazda CX-60 has a 570-litre load space limit, expanding to 1,148 litres with the back seats collapsed FL at and 1,726 litres when stacked to the roof. The ease of use of the freight region has been incredibly worked on over that of the CX-5. The width of the rear end opening has been expanded to 1,082 mm, 35 mm more extensive than the CX-5, and the level of the opening is 758 mm. The level difference between load space FL/OR and the rear end ledge has likewise been limited for simpler stacking, and abnormalities in the walls have been eliminated to offer a cleaner freight narrows shape. The load space is outfitted with a 12V DC electrical plug, discretionary 1500 WAC for e-SCA active PHEV model with cut-fix unit. The Mazda CX-60 may likewise be furnished with a discretionary sans hands-fueled rear end. Enacted by a sensor under the back guard, the rear end can be both opened and shut by clients in any event, when two hands are full. The Mazda CX-60 highlights the most recent rendition of Mazda interface, which incorporates upgrades, for example, a speedier beginning up, further developed picture and sound quality, an implicit 3D gyro sensor, and a free word scan capability that allows clients to look for objections by entering a mix of watchwords. The framework upholds remote Apple CarPlay and, without precedent for a Mazda, remote Android Auto, as standard, to guarantee a helpful client experience with PDA mix. The most recent My Mazda application is accessible free of charge from the Apple Application Store and the Google Play Store. It presents associated administrations across Europe with cutting-edge usefulness that eliminates any hindrances between the vehicle and driver to make a consistent proprietorship experience. Various comfort and genuine serenity capabilities incorporate the accompanying. Vehicle locator assists the driver with tracking down the vehicle on the off chance that it is left in an enormous vehicle leave. While looking for the vehicle in a far-off, non-noticeable area, its position can be recognized on a guide screen. Distant entryway locking permits the driver who neglects to lock the vehicle ways to do so utilizing the My Mazda application. The application will likewise inform the driver with an alarm and pop-up message whenever actuated, when any vehicle entryway isn't shut. Prior to entering the vehicle, the My Mazda application can likewise be utilized to look for objections when route direction is required, and send the important data to the vehicle. Different objections, and spots along the course, can be sent at the same time. A vehicle well-being report capability permits the proprietor to check data connected with support, for example, the tire pressure status. Furthermore, proprietors can likewise be informed when booked support is expected. Clients can look for the closest Mazda showroom and get in touch with them straightforwardly through email or phone. The application likewise shows the vehicle's administration history, and when the following assistance is expected. Clients can straightforwardly plan the following help and send an assistance solicitation to the picked Mazda showroom. Through an emergency aids capability, data about a vehicle glitch can be checked through the My Mazda application and client care gave. At long last, in the event that an entryway is gotten into, the burglary ready capability is enacted and a security ready tells the My Mazda application of the reason and the ready actuation. To utilize the My Mazda application, clients should enlist, and may then download it for nothing. They can then add their vehicle to the application and enlist with associated administrations. Principal drivers of the vehicle can likewise welcome second drivers to the vehicle, who will then additionally approach associated vehicle capabilities. The capabilities accessible to the subsequent driver can be picked by the fundamental driver. The Mazda CX-60 highlights an improved variant of the Mazda Symphonious acoustics framework initially produced for the Mazda 3. The size of the front cowl side woofers has been expanded from 3 liters to 4.8 liters by utilizing a piece of the vehicle casing to house them. The front cowl side woofers are situated in a space in the sides of the front cowl made by pushing the front tire lodging further forward to accomplish ideal driving position ergonomics. The external shell of the woofer box is utilized to support the piece of the vehicle edge to which it is welded. Subsequently, the Mazda CX-60 sound framework has a more prominent bass powerful reach and greater sound generation. Created throughout 6 years, the framework enhancer is situated under the Mazda CX-60's right front seat. The excellent amplifier is the consequence of numerous, top-of-the-line sound innovations that cooperate to create top-quality sound. They incorporate a steady power supply, the utilization of a custom-made capacitor that is exceptional to Mazda, and phoneme tuning that repeats inconspicuous and sensitive sounds to playback however much sound data, as could reasonably be expected. Sound quality is additionally improved by the utilization of MSR-NR, Expert Sound Resuscitate Sound Decrease, innovation, which eliminates shot commotion remembered for computerized sound sources like CDs, a very first on certifiable vehicle sound. Different improvements incorporate the expansion of a second cone to the speakers under the middle cap. This broadens the upper mid-range and further works on then sound association with the tweeters, which duplicate the higher frequencies. The Mazda CX-60's 12-speaker Bose sound framework is extraordinary in its plan and its exhibition. It adopts the Bose bass-matched designing strategy to a higher level, furnishing a strong listening experience with profound, low-frequency influence for all tenants. Situated under the right-hand front seat, the core of the framework is a Bose computerized amplifier with 9 channels of custom balance and advanced signal handling, including Bose Centerpoint 2 Encompass sound innovation, Bose surround stage handling and Bose Audio Pilot 2 noise compensation innovation. The 12 Elite presentation speakers contain, one 18mm twiddler in the focal point of the instrument board, two 25mm neodymium tweeters, one in every entryway reflect fix, two 115mm high-trip neodymium woofers, each in a 4-liter exceptionally designed cowl side bass nook using the body outline, four 80mm neodymium, mid/high reach speakers, one in every entryway, two back 65mm Encompass speakers, one mounted in every C support point, and one 130mm neodymium woofer in a 10-liter custom-engineered bass walled-in area in the extra wheel lodging. The bass-matched cowl side nooks use wonderful drive focuses to convey more tight, more impressive bass while decreasing entryway buzz. Joined with the back bass fenced-in area and tuning, the general powerful reach, clearness and picture width of the sound framework is upgraded. The Mazda CX-60 is accessible in a decision of 4 model grades, a Prime Line base grade, a Select Line mid-grade, and Takumi and Homura high specify cation and prevalent quality grades. Mid and high grades might be further outfitted with different choice packs, driver help, accommodation, and sound, all-encompassing sunroof and solace. The Prime Line grade is intended to be the most vigorous of the model reach. The outside includes a dark honeycomb grille configuration, all drove lights, dark encompasses to the coated regions and 18-inch dim metallic composite wheels. The inside is done in strong plastics, with shapes and grains that reflect the tough picture of a solid and reliable SUV. Material inside upholstery is commended by a dark inside with titanium emphasizes, and a cowhide managed controlling haggle switch. A Thoroughgear Specify cation incorporates electric windows, 6-way flexible driver and front seats, double-zone cooling, a 12-inch Variety TFT focal touchscreen and HMI order regulator, spot radio with 8 speakers, Bluetooth, remote Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, sat-nav, and programmed voyage control. Elite Line adds a bar-type piano dark grille, piano dark coating encompasses, 20-inch silver metallic combination wheels, front and back signature enlightenment, brilliant keyless section and wiper de-icing. 18-inch compound wheels are additionally accessible for RHD markets. Ready, a dark calfskin inside includes a dashboard finished in dark fake cowhide vinyl with titanium channeling. Rooftop support points and the rooftop lining are done in lighter tones to mellow the general look. The overhauled hardware Specify cation adds a head-up show, HUD, front seats with 10-way power change, seat warming, ventilation and programmed setting resortation, a warmed controlling wheel, and glove box and front footwell enlightenment. Takumi has been established for the metropolitan climate. The outside includes a restrictive front guard plan, a bar-type piano dark grille, A splendid metal completion to the front mark wings, side marks and coating encompasses, and 20-inch, dark metallic, precious stone cut machined composite wheels. The white Napa cowhide upholstered inside praises the living nature of normal wood grain and great woven materials, with Japanese craftsmanship accomplishing the most elevated levels of value in the two materials. Surfaces are made utilizing both customary techniques and new advancements. The treatment of the maple wood trim reflects the Japanese tasteful of hacho, topsy-turvy balance, or purposeful lopsidedness. The woven textures, different examples and yarns answer delicately to changes in light, and a Japanese sewing method called keiki makes hanging sewing creases with spaces between the trim textures, uncovering a brief look at the material underneath. White surrounding lighting on the front and back entryway trim draws out the best of the variety, and surface of the inside wraps up. The Takumi gear specify cation coordinates that of the Select line with Solace grade, with the expansion of back footwell lighting, and a dark, cowhide wrapped directing wheel with white sewing and power change. The Mazda CX-60's new driver personalization framework is fitted, utilizing face acknowledgement to change the seat, HUD and entryway mirrors to recently remembered positions. Homura highlights a uniform outside body tone, offsetting tastefulness and strength with a feeling of respect. The selective front guard configuration complements the admission and makes more surface region for the body variety underneath the guard. The outside trim joins a piano dark honeycomb grille with ebony mark wing and side mark plating, and all dark entryway mirrors, exhaust decorate and streamlined, 20-inch dark metallic compound wheels. The dark inside with standard calfskin upholstery establishes a seriously driving centered climate, and white surrounding lighting on the front and back entryway trim draws out the best of the great quality inside wraps up. The Homura specify cation coordinates that of the Selective line with Solace grade, with the expansion of back footwell lighting and power guiding wheel change. By and by, Mazda's new driver personalization framework is fitted. Making a further stride towards understanding its reasonable Zoom 2030 statement, Mazda has put forth an objective to zap all vehicles it produces by 2030. Thus the new Mazda CX-60 send-offs the organization's most memorable PHEV, yet in addition incorporates 48V Mazda M half-and-half lift innovation in its lineup. The all-new Mazda CX-60 embraces Mazda's SkyActiv multi-arrangement versatile engineering for its longitudinal power units. This makes it conceivable to make further strides in charge and fulfill ecological necessities with the organization's recently evolved inline 6-chamber petroleum and diesel motors, as well as Mazda M crossbreed lift vehicles and PHEVs. The Mazda CX-60's longitudinal powertrain design offers many benefits. These incorporate the capacity to mount engines and batteries of various sizes in a similar design for both the Mazda M half-and-half lift vehicles and PHEV renditions, and the office to put the engine on a similar hub as the motor and transmission. The Mazda CX-60 powertrain lineup highlights 3 new motors: Mazda's most memorable PHEV, a 2.5-liter, 4-chamber SkyActiv G petroleum unit with Jolt innovation, and 2 straight-6 motors, a 3.3-liter e-SkyActiv D diesel unit, and a 3.0-liter e-SkyActiv X petroleum motor. Each of the 3 power plants are mated to another 8-speed programmed transmission, and Mazda's iActiv all-wheel drive framework. The e-SkyActiv D diesel unit, and the e-SkyActiv X petroleum motor may likewise be outfitted with back tire drive as it were. Mazda Shrewd Drive Select, Me Drive, offers a decision of 4 drive modes, in addition to EV mode for the PHEV, to give ideal control and driving joy in each driving situation. The 6-chamber motors were created in view of the right estimating idea, which calls for streamlining removal to further develop fuel and power productivity. Joining 8-speed programmed transmission with the zap of Mazda's 48V gentle half-and-half framework, M crossbreed lift, each of the 3 units are intended to decisively further develop power conveyance and driving delight, while simultaneously upgrading ecological execution. Mazda's most memorable PHEV powertrain joins a modified form of the Skyactiv G2.5, 4-chamber direct infusion petroleum motor found in the CX-5 with a huge, 100 kW electric engine and a 355V, 17.8 kWh high-limit lithium particle battery. The petroleum motor fosters a greatest power result of 141 kilowatts at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 261 Newton-meters of force. The electric engine conveys 100 kilowatts of force and 250 Newton-meters of force from 0 RPM. With consumption tuning to further develop force at the most often utilized mid to low speed ranges, 1,500 to 3,000 revolutions per minute, this blend of motor and engine conveys an all-out framework result of 327 PS/241 kilowatts and plentiful force of 500 Newton meters, making it the most remarkable street vehicle Mazda has at any point delivered. The Mazda CX-60 Skyactiv PHEV conveys profoundly noteworthy execution, advancing from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.8 seconds, and onto a restricted greatest speed of 200 km per hour. On the other hand, and most prominently while running on electric engine power alone, the new Mazda PHEV shows remarkable ecological qualifications. WLTP joint fuel utilization is simply 1.5 liters/100 kilometers, and WLTP consolidated CO2 outflows just 33 grams/km. The Mazda CX-60 Skyactiv PHEV offers 63 kilometers of motor-powered driving with the vehicle running at 100 kilometers per hour or less. The 3.0-liter inline 6-chamber Skyactiv X exploits the great vibration balance inline 6-chamber motors are known for, and joins this with improvements to the exact ignition control innovation produced for the 4-chamber Skyactiv X, bringing about another unit that answers the issue of right measuring. The bigger limit empowers the pushing of more air into the motor, eliminating the requirement for turbocharging. This empowered Mazda to make a unit with a straightforward base design to which is added a two-fold above camshaft and variable valve timing that changes the camshaft stage dependently and quickly. Thus, inside EGR control accomplishes ignition with a low proportion of fuel to air. The motor conveys smooth speed increase and a connecting with sound. Additionally, because of upgraded lean ignition innovation, the unit likewise accomplishes a similar mileage as the 4-chamber Skyactiv X motor. Taking on a right estimating approach and working out the ideal discharges from the Mazda CX-60 in light of its weight, Mazda's inline 6-chamber diesel motor highlights a limit expanded from 2.2 to 3.3 liters, as well as a speed-up range at which lean copy, high-efficiency burning with negligible fuel utilization, is conceivable. As well as upgrading yield execution through expanded motor limit, Mazda has planned the unit to utilize excess air to further develop ignition. This outcomes in a more nimble speed increase reaction, lower NOx discharges at high RPM and result, and better warm proficiency because of a more prominent lean copy speed range. Two advancements specifically guarantee everything overflow air is utilized during ignition, paying little heed to motor speed, the utilization of egg-formed burning chambers that partition the air-fuel combination into two districts inside the cylinder bowl, bringing about a more prominent lean consume region with negligible unburned buildup, and high-tension fuel supply innovation that empowers quick and exact infusion. Together, these two advances contribute fundamentally to the Mazda CX-60's exceptional driving reach. Moreover, the inline 6-chamber unit utilizes a straightforward design, bringing about a motor weight like that of a traditional 4-chamber diesel, consequently limiting the distinction in dealing with balance regardless of the greater motor limit. A first for the organization, Mazda's MEF48 crossover innovation prepares both of the Mazda CX-60's straight-six powerplants. When matched with the diesel motor, it offers not just the worth of far and away superior mileage, yet additionally worked on natural execution by utilizing the electric engine to help the motor in the light burden, inactive to low speed, range where gas-powered motors are not exceptionally effective. The help given by the engine while pulling away from a standing beginning can be felt the moment the driver applies the choke, adding to the development of the G-verti driving experience. Mazda CX-60 MEF powertrains embrace a regenerative friction brake coordination framework. This directions control of the erosion brakes and engine energy recovery framework to accomplish the planned slowing down force while recuperating energy without squander. It utilizes a brake-by-wire framework to recognize the expected degree of slowing down force while creating however much energy as could be expected inside this reach. It then, at that point, makes up for any shortage by slowing down force produced by the grating brakes, accomplishing both a characteristic slowing down feel and great mileage. The reduced and inventive brake-by-wire framework unit incorporates activity of the brakes, the brake promoter and the brake control framework. As the brakes are constrained by electrical signs, this setup works with more multifaceted control of the brake contrasted with past mechanical frameworks. The Mazda CX-60 MEF additionally embraces helpful control of the AWD and engine recovery frameworks. This works by expanding AWD securing force during engine-fueled regenerative deceleration, settling vehicle pose during slowing down and recovering more energy. Mazda's new 8-speed programmed transmission offers drivers smooth and responsive stuff moving with clear, smooth, stuffed steps and a wide reach, accomplishing the right equilibrium of dynamic and ecological execution. The new transmission changes gears in a similar way as a force converter transmission, through planetary cogwheels and multi-plate grips, yet it doesn't have a water-powered converter as an information grasp, rather, a multi-plate grasp as well as a coordinated electric engine/generator. By supplanting the force converter with a grip, the force of the motor and engine is communicated straightforwardly, with quick and musical moving similar as a manual transmission. Moreover, the grip's contact transmission and cooling capabilities have been advanced to accomplish smooth beginning and high efficiency. The Mazda CX-60 Skyactiv PHEV's mixture powertrain takes into consideration the free power blending of the petroleum motor and electric engine, and the new transmission assists with carrying out this easily at all velocities. The conservative plan of Mazda's one-of-a-kind 8-speed transmission, and the ideal design of the whole powertrain affects a more modest transmission burrow space, limiting the effect on the pedal box space and considering an optimal driving position. Mazda's most memorable cross-model longitudinal design stage takes on an all-wheel drive framework that utilizes an electronically controlled multi-plate grip. This recently evolved framework accomplishes high foothold execution and optimal dealing with qualities, making it one of the most outstanding performing AWD frameworks on a creation vehicle. The AWD idea for the Mazda CX-60's new longitudinal vehicle stage includes a full-time all-wheel drive framework that protects the non-partisan cornering execution qualities of a back-tire drive framework yet offsets it with the soundness of AWD. The more noteworthy steadiness of its strong footing on snow or other dangerous surfaces, its straight-line strength on parkways and its taking care of execution on winding streets extraordinarily outperform the past I-Active AWD framework in view of front-wheel drive power. On the PHEV's half-and-half framework, the AWD framework works with the regenerative composed slowing down to enhance front and back tire regenerative dissemination so more energy can be recuperated from every one of the 4 tires during deceleration. In the drive's game, off, street and towing modes, the AWD framework's coordinated command over the powertrain and stopping mechanisms enhances the circulation of drive power to each of the 4 wheels to deal with different driving conditions. The Mazda CX-60's developed Mi-Drive Mazda Stute Drive Select framework offers 5 switchable drive modes: ordinary, game, off, street, towing and PHEV just, to upgrade grasp, footing, execution, taking care of and well-being in the largest conceivable scope of driving conditions. Typical mode seeks after the best equilibrium of fuel efficiency and driving execution and offers an agreeable ride in all parts of day-to-day existence. Sport mode boosts the capability of the vehicle's dynamic exhibition, and upgrades the responsiveness of the powertrain to help more forceful driving. The AWD framework expands its cinching power to improve moving strength and permit the driver to appreciate strong driving with genuine serenity. Off-street mode enhances the AWD framework, footing control framework, TCS, and other powerful frameworks to convey foothold-situated qualities for more noteworthy execution on harsh landscape. This mode additionally offers an off-street foothold help capability to assist drivers with liberating the vehicle, assuming that it at any point stalls out. Towing mode streamlines the AWD powertrain yield qualities for the expanded way while a towing hitch is mounted to pull a trailer or a bicycle transporter or rooftop box is mounted, giving a fantastic ride. Also, the AWD framework is upgraded for trailer towing to further develop straight-line soundness. EV mode, PHEV just, makes it conceivable to drive under electric engine power alone. For instance, in regions where inner ignition engine vehicles are prohibited, or while driving in a calm neighborhood. The new Mazda CX-60 depends on Mazda's SkyActiv multi-arrangement adaptable design, intended to be viable with the SUV's longitudinal front motor back tire drive mechanical format. As well as working with the organization's new inline 6-chamber motors and making it simpler to introduce ZAP innovations, for example, M-half-breed lift and e-SkyActiv PHEV frameworks, SkyActiv multi-arrangement adaptable design includes various upgrades that further develop G-motor driving. In light of Mazda's human-driven approach, these incorporate body shell unbending nature that guarantees drivers can feel vehicle reaction without slack, situates that make it considerably simpler for each tenant to keep up with balance while the vehicle is moving, suspension that settles vehicle pose while driving, and a Mazda one-of-a-kind vehicle pose control framework, kinematic stance control, KPC. Mazda's objective with the Mazda CX-60 was to empower the driver to in a flash detect the vehicle's reaction to each control activity, bringing about a vehicle that offers the driver a genuine feeling of solidarity from in the driver's seat. The unbending nature of the body structure was fortified by exploiting the longitudinal powertrain design to amplify and reinforce the crosspart of the front edge. Expanding the inflexibility of the casing part joints adds to more prominent by and large unbending nature of the whole multi-ring body structure. From the guiding wheel to the front tires, and from that point to the front suspension, the body, the back suspension, the back tires, the body and afterward the seat, power is moved from the unbending components of the human body, solid strength and skeletal construction, to the vehicle's mechanical inflexible components altogether, and the criticism from the vehicle is detected right away. Thus, the Mazda CX-60's underlying transmission qualities permit the driver to feel as though the vehicle is a characteristic expansion of the human body. The situating of the great voltage battery between the front and back axles and as low as conceivable inside the body shell gives the new Mazda CX-60 PHEV an especially low focal point of gravity. This, joined with an extremely durable all-wheel drive framework consolidating shaft-driven move of force between the axles, gives the vehicle predominant taking care of qualities on a standard with the best in the exceptional fragment. In Mazda's flow lineup of little engineering models, the seats are as of now intended to help the pelvis accurately, so the versatility of the spine is guaranteed. This makes it simpler for an individual's reflexes to adjust against horizontal G-powers during corners. The new Mazda CX-60's seats add support for the support points of body development while working the controlling wheel, choke pedal and brakes, making a construction that upholds the driver's psyche endeavors to keep up with balance in light of G-powers from all bearings. To accomplish this, Mazda expanded the quantity of pad springs from 3 to 4, further working on the seat's help of the body and keeping the pelvis from rolling in reverse. The seat back suspension network has been changed to a plate, decreasing your pivot of the chest region. Also, seat mount inflexibility had been expanded to offer much more help. Moreover, for the polyurethane components of the seats, The flexibility of the SAP outline has been kept up with, yet the SAP covering on the pad cells has been acclimated to adjust damping and versatility. This further develops ride solace, yet in addition adds to the quicker transmission of power from the back tires, empowering the driver to feel more in a state of harmony with the vehicle and partake in a more cadenced driving feel. Each seat is planned involving similar idea as the driver's seat, empowering all lodge tenants to partake in the drive without being influenced by the development of the vehicle. The new Mazda CX-60 elements a two-fold wishbone suspension framework to the front and a multi-connect setup to the back. In light of Mazda's Gene-Beitai reasoning, the suspension has been intended to control the sprung mass, vehicle body, easily during cornering and balance out vehicle act in a wide assortment of speed ranges. 3 measures guarantee the springs and dampers work without a hitch, just dropping straight out of control, with no sidelong or longitudinal shaking because of contribution from the tires, the reception of a suspension math that smooths vertical development of the vehicle body, no offset between tire input and the place of the damping support individuals, and an enhanced back suspension format. Furthermore, the reception of aluminium pass-on projecting for the highest point of the suspension on every one of the 4 wheels increments unbending nature. This has brought about additional effective information transmission from the suspension to the vehicle body and, thus, faster transmission of power from the front to raise suspension. The front two-fold wishbone setup has control arms at the top and base. Utilizing the extra space managed by the longitudinally mounted powertrain, the suspension control arms have been broadened, and the longitudinal range got. Indeed, even the most fundamental pieces of the suspension have been painstakingly intended to make the tires hold the street surface better and settle vehicle development even in circumstance, for example, cornering or driving on unpleasant surfaces. Refining the suspension settings has brought about a straightforward, smooth body development which offers close correspondence among vehicle and driver. Utilizing information and experience acquired from the MX-5, the back multi-connect suspension is intended to improve ride solace and diminish outside sound without adversely influencing taking care of or solidness. The utilization of metal swiveling appendages instead of elastic shrubberies on the external sides of the back suspension joins increments unbending nature. Accordingly, the design communicates force from the back tires to the vehicle body all the more straightforwardly. This really intends that, thus, vehicle reaction to driver information will be communicated to the driver in a more straightforward way, permitting the driver to encounter a genuine feeling of association with the vehicle. The result of the new Mazda CX-60's human-driven suspension framework configuration brings about a skeleton that empowers drivers to encounter smooth vehicle development regardless of what the driving circumstance, and suspension that limits head development, empowering proprietors to appreciate natural control of the vehicle consistently. Likewise utilized on the MX-5, the Mazda CX-60's double-pinion electric power controlling, EPS, builds the unbending nature of the EPS engine and parts to which it interfaces that apply a lot of force, making a strong and steady connection between the guiding wheel point and front tire point. The outcome is an immediate, clean guiding feel that gives more exact and consoling command over the vehicle. Kinematic Stance Control, KPC, is a new, Mazda exceptional innovation that exploits the manner in which the Mazda CX-60's suspension structure is intended to work with smooth body development and stable cornering even at high rates. The back suspension of the Mazda CX-60 is intended to go against lift power and draw the vehicle body downwards when the vehicle brakes. KPC capitalizes on these suspension qualities, balancing out vehicle act while cornering under especially high G-force by slowing down within back tire somewhat to alleviate roll and draw the vehicle body downwards. Also, the framework utilizes the speed contrast between the back tires to distinguish the turning state continuously, utilizing this data to make vehicle development more straight, and settle vehicle act as required. The KPC framework adds no weight to the Mazda CX-60 by any means. Mazda's slope plunge control upholds safe downhill driving on steep inclines with tricky, unpleasant surfaces like rough terrain, landscape, or snow-covered slopes. The framework continually screens tire turn and uses this data to unequivocally control brake liquid tension and settle vehicle development, consequently keeping the vehicle at a consistent speed without the driver expecting to utilize the brakes. In the occasion the heels ought to slip while driving downhill with slope plunge control enacted, ABS will naturally assume command over the brakes. Once more, whenever ABS is deactivated, HTC keeps up with the set plummet speed. HTC is functional at rates of 3 to 20 km per hour. It changes to backup at rates of 20 to 30 km per hour with the goal that it can continue control whenever the vehicle gets back to the functional speed range. At paces of more than 30 km per hour, the framework turns off naturally. The new CX-60 PHEV has a towing limit of 2,500 kg, for 8% and 12% slant. To accomplish this, the motor cooling execution has been upgraded. The radiator surface region has been expanded and a side radiator added. A two-level radiator structure has been taken on that cools high-temperature water on one level and low-temperature water on another. Underhat wind stream has likewise been enhanced to accomplish more productive cooling through the fitting of a double hook hat, a breeze manual for the side radiator, and reinforcing of the pipes to lessen wind spillage. The Mazda CX-60 uses both sound protection and retention innovation to kill all upsetting commotion and give the Lodge an interestingly refined Mazda quietness. Sound protection, commotion move counteraction, has been improved by lessening the quantity of openings and holes in the floor to an outright least, and by embracing a two-wall, bodyboard and surface material design to diminish wind clamor. Sound ingestion has been upgraded through change of the padding layer between the bodyboards and surface materials to more readily control wind commotion and retain all the more low recurrence sounds, for example, outside sound. The Mazda CX-60's thorough scope of cutting-edge iActiveSense driver help frameworks guarantee dynamic well-being at the most elevated level, and focus on an Euro NCAP 5-star security rating. Other iActiveSense frameworks include high-level Shrewd City Brake Help, high-level SCBS, with walker and cyclist discovery and convergence capability, back crisis brake help, SBSR, with person-on-foot location, path-keeping help with directing help, ELK, traffic sign acknowledgement, TSR, and sleepiness discovery, DA. Mazda's 360 degrees view screen utilizes a 4-camera framework that covers all sides of the vehicle to show an elevated perspective of the vehicle from above on the middle presentation, as well as a decision of front, back and left or right side perspectives. The Mazda CX-60 adds transparent view as a further development of the 360 degrees view screen usefulness. It shows a picture on the screen that apparently permits the driver to see through the front and back corners of the vehicle from their perspective, making it simpler to detect objects darkened by the vehicle's bodywork. This assists the driver with remaining completely mindful of encompassing circumstances while driving gradually in restricted spaces like parking garages and limited back streets. Standard across the Mazda CX-60 territory, high-level Shrewd City Brake Backing, high-level SCBS, utilizes a forward-sensing camera to distinguish vehicles and people on foot ahead, both by day and around evening time, and assist with keeping away from impacts or relieve harm in the occasion one happens. The framework naturally stops or diminishes the speed of the vehicle when there is a gamble of crash with the vehicle or person on foot in front. Other key iActiveSense driver supporting advancements included as standard across the reach incorporate Mazda's Path Keep Help framework and vulnerable side observing with back cross traffic alert. Vulnerable side checking keeps the driver mindful of vehicles drawing nearer when, for instance, moving to another lane. Its back cross-traffic ready capability screens the vehicle's environmental factors while switching, cautioning the driver when it recognizes vehicles drawing closer from the sides. Mazda Radar Journey Control, MRCC, with unpredictable capability consequently keeps up with the proper vehicle speed and ideal following distance, regardless of whether the vehicle ahead reaches a total stop. iVersatile Journey Control, IACC, is an extra capability which permits drivers to effectively set the MRCC to as far as possible by utilizing traffic sign acknowledgement. Further, standard dynamic security hardware incorporates a four-wheel electronically monitored slowing mechanism, 4-watts ABS, with electronic brake force dissemination, EBD, and brake help, dynamic solidness control, DSC, a foothold control framework, TCS, a crisis quit flagging framework, ESS, slope send-off help, HLA, and programmed headlamps which enlighten around 30 minutes before nightfall, making it simpler for walkers and different vehicles to see the vehicle. Mazda has painstakingly dissected certifiable mishaps to completely refine aloof security innovations from different points, including insurance of the actual vehicle as well as the one with which it crashes to alleviate wounds inside the other vehicle, as well as to all the more likely safeguard the older and people on foot. The organization's detached well-being innovation has been created determined to acquire the most noteworthy European security evaluations. 3 advancement innovations consolidate to convey astounding front-facing crash security execution. First and foremost, the multi-way structure productivity ingests energy through 3 separate burden ways, principal, upper and lower, to relax the effect on inhabitants and limit lodge misshapening. Besides, the hub pressure outline pairs energy assimilation productivity while adding to both space and weight reserve funds. Thirdly, the system is intended to be as straight as could be expected. These innovations not just guarantee the Mazda CX-60 has extraordinary forward impact opposition, yet in addition support its plan by adding to a class driving short front shade of just 842 mm. The casing associations, which are customarily a flimsy spot concerning bowing and turning, have been fortified to convey the heap. A 1800 megapascals grade high-strength material made utilizing Mazda's new trim innovation has been joined with customary 1300 megapascals grade material in similar parts to improve strength in non-bending regions while lessening it in twisting regions, accomplishing an ideal deformity mode while decreasing weight. The rooftop configuration weds the open, breezy feel of an all-encompassing rooftop with the strength expected in case of a turnover. The open feel has been kept up with by embracing a flimsy rooftop bow, changing the rooftop cross-segment, and involving more grounded materials for the actual bow, 980 megapascals rather than 500 megapascals, to make the rooftop more grounded. Lodge tenant security in case of a side effect is additionally upgraded by the fitting of both focus airbags and back seat side airbags. The Mazda CX-60 is intended to retain 2 times as much back influence energy as the ongoing CX-5. Until now, Mazda vehicles have ingested energy by the bowing and deformity of the back outline. In any case, the Mazda CX-60 purposes hub misshapening of the backside edge to retain twofold the energy. Simultaneously, the thickness of the side casing has been diminished to impact further weight saving. E-Skyactiv PHEV forms of the new Mazda CX-60 are furnished with thorough high-voltage assurance measures to safeguard vehicle inhabitants from the gamble of electric shocks. Notwithstanding the strength of the vehicle body, actual security has been added to the actual battery, guaranteeing both immediate and circuitous contact insurance as well as protection obstruction. In particular, this elaborate utilizing pliant aluminium, a very amazing, brake-safe material, for the battery lodging, as well as adding energy-retaining material to the beyond the lodging to keep it from breaking. Numerous actions in light of various electrical standards have likewise been carried out to remove parts other than the battery from the high-voltage framework in case of an impact. A circuit interrupter and voltage minimizer are utilized to stop the progression of power that would cause power dissemination. As 70% of passerby fatalities and serious wounds from fender benders include injury to the head, legs, or hips, the Mazda CX-60's hat and front guard face have been intended to safeguard these regions. The hood accomplishes both passerby head security and unbending nature in a solitary design by embracing a cross-sectional construction that partitions the board into an upper segment that retains energy and a lower segment that gives inflexibility. Furthermore, the plan guarantees there is adequate room between this construction and inflexible undercap parts like the motor. Likewise, the front bumpers have been given sufficient level to extend the hood smash zone so it will delicately retain head influence on account of a crash with a person on foot. The front guard face guarantees more than adequate space between the guard cover, plan surface, and the cap and guard pillar. The heaviness of the inner construction of the guard face has been painstakingly controlled so it will delicately assimilate leg and hip effect. Furthermore, the inside design of the guard face is separated upward to ingest energy from straight ahead or more, while the incorporation of a help section forestalls guard hanging.